Good afternoon, everyone. It's your host, Bear Evans with Lil Mike Fight Night, and today we're going to be going over the UFC's first ever Octagon announcer. Think Bruce Buffer, but a woman, okay? Then, not only going to do that, we're also going to be talking about Conor McGregor buying BKFC, or at least part of it, what the ramifications and what that means for the future layout of the UFC and the architecture for the BKFC as well. Also, I want to talk a little bit about Justin Gaethje and kind of what's next for him, right? So, if you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit subscribe button, comment if you want to see anything else covered. If you have any ideas or questions, what I do is when I go along this, I kind of ask for y'all's opinion, and I love the community y'all are building. So with that getting started, let's go ahead and play this from MMA Talk. It's the announcement of Charly Arnold. Makes at her Vegas UFC 91 card.
History at UFC Vegas 91. American sports broadcaster and television personality Charly Arnold just became the first female Octagon announcer in UFC history. During Saturday's UFC Vegas 91 event, Arnold stepped in to call the result of the Korean Silva vs. Ariane Silva fight when the original announcer, Joe Martinez, began to feel ill. Though he did return later in the evening after Charly announced the co-main event between Bogdan Guskov and Ryan Spann. In addition to her involvement with the UFC, Arnold currently serves as a television host for Outkick after leaving Fox News. Conor McGregor.
So, guys, a couple of really things, like how dumb do you think like Joe feels, for not feeling good, and stepping out? So one thing about it's not a numbered card. That's why, hey, didn't they just have a UFC 300 and they're about to have a 301? Yes, the 91s are going to be the free cards or the UFC fight nights. So what makes this interesting too, so when they have the fight cards, the fight nights, the free cards, non-pay-per-view events, there's no Joe Rogan, sometimes we'll have Michael Bisping or so on and so forth. But on this fight night in Vegas at the Apex, which is going to be the UFC's Octagon, not only do they have a different Octagon announcer, then they had Daniel Cormier going ahead and doing the interview. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They don't have one guy do it all, kind of like a Bruce Buffer. Now, the cool thing about Charly Arnold, if you don't know about her, talked a little bit about her career right here, but before that, she was with ESPN, and before that, she was actually an announcer reporter for the WWE. So she has a lot of experience kind of in this realm. Of course, Endeavor bought the UFC, so the WWE and UFC had a baby. Kind of cross paths, if you can kind of see that a little bit. Also, a little fun fact, when I looked her up, she was a Maxim model, so she's kind of done a lot of things when it comes in the space of sports. I don't know if I would say like combat sports because of wrestling, but now that she's here in the UFC, I think that's a huge moment. Think of Megan Olivi, which is going to be the, I'll post a picture of her right here. It's going to be the UFC, kind of the main reporter. One thing the UFC that does that's really cool, or Dana White, is he promotes women reporters. Obviously, it's a male-dominated industry. It's kind of harder. I'm not saying it's harder or easier, but when you have way more males than you have females, sometimes it's a male-dominated industry, and it's harder for a female to have that number one spot on primetime. One really cool thing UFC did with Megan Olivi, they have her, she's a number one, she's kind of like the face of the UFC when it comes to reporting. So with Charly, I think it's really cool that they gave her this opportunity. I think it's exploding right now over the internet. I think anytime, you talk about girl power, it's empowering women. I think it's an awesome career move and advancement. But the really cool thing about this too is because it's trending and everyone's talking about it, I think they're going to want to go ahead and see more Charly. And so I'm all for it. In my opinion, guys, drop your comments down below. Do you think you're going to see more Charly or less of her? So in my opinion, I think that they can't replace or replicate Bruce Buffer. Think about like DAZN, think about Showtime, think about Bellator, think about ONE FC, think about PFL. They all try to do it, but no one does it like Bruce. So instead of trying to find a guy to kind of sound similar to Bruce, I don't know if you have a kid, but if you know Blippy's like this popular guy. He talks like this, da, 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 da. Well, when he got popular, he got a stunt double Blippy, which is like, Blippy's like a Caucasian male, and then he got like this Latino male, and even though the Blippies are kind of similar, one just seems like the creepy Blippy, and it makes me uncomfortable. So with Bruce Banner, they're not going to be able to replicate with the same voice, the same actions, the same everything. So I think putting a woman in there, testing the waters, is a great way to change it up, and I think it just adds more excitement and value to the UFC brand. So with that being said, I also want to show you Charly talking. Sorry, UFC, do not block this video for me playing it, but I want to play a little clip of her announcing who won the fight, okay? Let's go ahead and click play.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards. The judges have scored the fight 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Karine Killer Silva.
Okay, what do y'all think about that? Just the fact that she can pronounce the names correctly, what an awesome thing. She came in last minute, as you heard the video. No one knew what was going on, and she showed up and she stepped up, and I think she took advantage of the opportunity, and I think it's super cool when it comes to women in the reporting things. I'm a brother of 2 sisters, and obviously a mama's boy, so I love girl power. So with that being said, let's go ahead. It's the same video, actually. It had 2 videos that kind of enticed me. This is going to be about Conor McGregor buys the BKFC, and I'm also going to talk about a news article and the ramifications, or kind of how it's going to change the layout in the fight industry. So let's go ahead and click play.
Made the announcement Saturday night during the BKFC Knucklemania 4 event in Los Angeles. Through the agreement, McGregor Sports and Entertainment will hold a partial ownership stake in BKFC, while Triller continues as the company's majority shareholder.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
During the Knucklemania 4 press conference, the BKFC...
So guys, David Feldman is the president of the BKFC. A little bit of background. Do y'all remember that story like 2 months ago that the UFC offered them, or someone, not the UFC, but someone offered the BKFC $250 million to buy it. David Feldman turned it down. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know if it was a publicity stunt to kind of make them seem more popular, because they weren't doing pay-per-views for the longest time. They're trying to get the fans, build the interest, and now they are just blowing up. So this is a report from ESPN. I'm going to go ahead and read this. You know, the former 2-division UFC champion, now a part owner of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. So with that being said, though, he owns, I believe, 20% of it. So just letting you know, he owns 20%. The notorious Conor McGregor said in a video that aired before, ladies and gentlemen, huge announcement. We just heard that. Let's see. Thriller will remain the majority shareholder of the promotion, while McGregor Sports and Entertainment enters as part owner. So McGregor is still, he's part owner. He doesn't have full, majority control, so he doesn't have majority say, but he does have voting power as well too. So there's so many really cool things that can happen here. So think about with Conor McGregor, and when he got in, he called out Mike Perry. How could I not think about his name? The king of violence. The face of BKFC, Mike Perry, called him out, did this big old promo while he still wasn't fighting in limbo. All this was happening. Now, it's kind of crazy. He kept talking, complaining about he wasn't able to fight. They're not letting me fight. And now he's able to fight. Right when the UFC announces Chandler versus McGregor, this comes out. Is that part of why it was holding up the deal so long for McGregor's contract? McGregor's like, hey, listen, I want to expand my business portfolio. I want to keep making money in the fight game. This company right now, this stock is hot, and I see it going up, 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 and up with long-term gains. I want to go ahead and buy this. And if I had to bet my life on it, his original contract says ain't no way. So I think that's what took so long in the contract negotiation. Not the filming like what Dana White claimed, but hey, Conor McGregor wants to buy a direct competitor, and we need to go ahead and get that cleared so we can fight out his 1 or 2 fights left in his contract and continue. So I'm really excited for this, guys. I know, comment down below, tell me what y'all think about this. Do you think that this is the right idea for McGregor? I think it is. I think he's a great promoter. And one thing I also think too, think about Alves, Perry, all these guys who they had success in the UFC, but they weren't like undefeated. Luke Rockhold. Yes, he was a champion, but he had a couple of losses by knockout and kind of lost his steam and off of injuries and all this stuff. So guys who aren't performing at the pinnacle top of the UFC, that are striker dominant and just have that dog in them, that drop down to bare knuckles, they seem to have a lot of success. Mike Perry, obviously, guy trailing the way for that and showing the example. But I think for McGregor, if he doesn't make it past the first or second round with Chandler, he's going to probably have to change it up, and this isn't going to be his game anymore. I think the bare knuckle would be going to be his game, and I think McGregor would do great in there. I'd love to see McGregor in some bare knuckles. Comment down below. What do you think? Do you think that the UFC kept McGregor from Chandler from happening for so long because he was trying to buy BKFC? Also, do you think Chandler is going to knock out McGregor within the second round? Do you think McGregor is going to go ahead and be able to use his distant control and reach to stay away from those heavy punches, use his footwork, and then go ahead and get the win in the later rounds? Because I think the only way Chandler's going to win is in the first or second round, and after that, I think it's McGregor's game. Both of these guys, though, aren't really 5-round fighters. We've seen that. They get nice and tired. I can't wait to see, but do you think McGregor would have more success in the BKFC? Because I definitely do. Now, going on to the last part, I want to say, I made a video about this saying, did Justin Gaethje drop the ball, like make a big mistake, taking the risk before he fought Max Holloway? I said, like, hey, what happens if he loses? Because then if he loses, he might not be next in line for the belt. So Max Holloway came in, knocks out Justin Gaethje. He moved up from 45 to 55, knocks out Gaethje for the BMF. Gaethje, number 1 contender, number 2 contender, whatever you want to call him. He did the title eliminator with Poirier. He's next in line for the title. So Holloway knocks him out. He goes back down. He just wants to fight to Poirier now is what it seems like in the 145. So what's next for Gaethje? Does that mean that Gaethje, Islam's coach said that, Gaethje will never, they'll never be preparing to fight him again. Islam's coach also said that Gaethje caused or had the most potential problems for Islam to fight when it came stylistically. So with Max Holloway going down, Gaethje's been knocked out by him. Islam's coach is saying, hey, he's never going to get the chance to fight Islam again, even though he was going to be Islam's hardest chance. But what about Islam fighting Poirier? Gaethje just knocked him out via a head kick. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't think it's Gaethje's last chance at getting the championship belt just because Max Holloway isn't a 155er, guys. Comment down below. I think Gaethje needs to take all the time in the world to recover, come back, and get back on that run. And with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for all the support you've been giving me. Drop your comments down below. What you want me to cover next? What do you think about some of my opinions or views? Do you disagree with them? Why do you disagree with them? I love reading all the comments, guys. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.